No matter what your thoughts are on the Super Mario Bros. Movie, we can all agree it's not the best film and a shining example of why video games don't translate well to the big screen. And this month, the ill-fated adaptation turns 25 years old. And so, we gave this star-studded disaster the SYFY treatment. Here's everything you didn't know about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Buckle up, because things are about to get very bumpy.
I'll kill that plumber!
So, it's 1993. 10 years after Super Mario Bros. Made its debut in arcades, and producer Roland Joffe pitched a Mario movie to Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi. Curious as to why Nintendo should sell the film rights of Mario to Joffe's small production company Leitmotiv instead of to a major studio, Joffe explained the company would get more creative control, and he left Nintendo's Kyoto offices with a $2 million contract, which ceded control of the Italian plumber to the producer for a temporary period of time. The first draft of the script centered on Mario and Luigi rescuing a princess from Bowser or King Koopa. 4 drafts later, Joffe first asked Ghostbusters actor Harold Ramis to direct. Now, Ramis was a fan of the game, but ultimately turned down the job, and Joffe settled on the husband and wife team of Annabelle Jankel and Rocky Morton, who were most famous for their creation of Max Headroom, a late 80s TV series about an investigative reporter living in a dystopian future who gets help from a computerized version of himself. Things start rolling along nicely as casting also nearly nabbed some major actors like Danny DeVito and Cheech Marin for the role of Mario, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Bowser, and Tom Hanks as Luigi. Sadly, Hanks didn't get the role because the studio didn't believe he was a bankable enough star at the time. In the end, Who Framed Roger Rabbit actor Bob Hoskins became Mario, and John Leguizamo became Luigi, who was actually the first choice for the role. Rounding out the cast was Dennis Hopper as King Koopa and celebrated actress Fiona Shaw. Yes, she is Aunt Petunia from the Harry Potter movies. And it was pretty much all downhill from there. The directors wanted to make a darker, more adult movie, while the studio and Nintendo wanted a more kid-friendly product. Joffe was also having trouble funding the project and decided to add more humor to entice investors like Disney. He brought on Bill and Ted scribe Ed Solomon to make things more lighthearted, but never told Morton and Jankel, who had already built sets and made storyboards, which were reportedly taken outside and burned in anger by Rocky Morton. Dude, that is some serious drama. Men are so emotional.
That tunnel just sneezed us out, and then this giant booger caught us in there. That's what saved us. Oh, come on!
The script they shot is a little confusing, let's be clear. When an archaeologist named Daisy, played by Samantha Mathis, who is actually the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom, is kidnapped by King Koopa's thugs, Mario and Luigi have to rescue her, because, see, Daisy has a fragment of the meteor that split the human and dinosaur dimensions, and Koopa wants to reunite the fragment from whence it came to merge the 2 worlds, so yeah, that's a lot to wrap your head around. Also, the actors hated working on this. Bob Hoskins would later come to regret having any part in the movie, calling it the worst thing he ever did. He also had no idea it was based on a video game until his son Jack told him. Leguizamo later wrote that he and Hoskins hated working on Super Mario Bros. So much that they'd often just get drunk together to make it through the day, which is kind of what you have to do to make it through the movie. Bob Hoskins also had a van door accidentally slammed on his hand, though based on his attitude, I don't know if it was an accident. He had to wear a cast that was painted pink to look like a hand. He also claimed he was stabbed 4 times, electrocuted, and nearly drowned. Dennis Hopper also hated this project, once saying he did it only for the money, had agreed to a 5-week shoot, and ended up being there for 17 weeks.
Perhaps if I could just make you idiots smarter, you won't screw up this time.
Not because, no.
There are reports that the screenplay was being rewritten so often that the cast just stopped paying attention. What ended up happening was that no one had a clue what to do, and this resulted in a movie that had almost nothing to do with the Mario games other than the title and the fact that Mario and Luigi are in fact plumbers. But everything else is a strange and/or pale distortion of the established Mario canon. Examples? I'm glad you asked. Bad guys like Big Bertha. Yeah, she's a giant fish in the game, but in the movie, a woman in a nightclub. The Goombas are these pieces of nightmare fuel. Mario and Luigi should probably wear their trademark red and green overalls, right? That's a given, of course. And they do, but not until more than an hour into the movie. What's that? Why? Anyway, you want to see a live-action Yoshi? Great, yes, of course I do. The puppet was capable of 64 unique movements due to the 200 feet of wire crammed within its 3-foot body. Even some of Spielberg's team came by to check it out since they were making Jurassic Park at the time. It looked like this, so I don't think Spielberg was threatened. This took 9 puppeteers to control. Perhaps the only accurate thing in the movie is the depiction of the Bomb-Oms, the little white-eyed bombs that have pervaded the Mario games since Super Mario Bros. In 1988. Some fun facts. The Dino Hat and set was used in both 1990's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and 1994's The Crow. It was originally a cement factory outside of Wilmington, North Carolina. In the script, Mario and Luigi's last name is Mario. Yeah, Mario's full name is Mario. Think even a little bit.
It's 3. It's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Aliens actor Lance Henriksen did get a small role as Daisy's father, the King, who was turned into a toadstool by Koopa. When he turns back into a human at the end, it was Henriksen's idea for his character to cough up fungus. Rice Krispies were used to create such a practical effect. Plus, the project wasn't a total loss as Henriksen met his second wife, Jane Pollock, on set. Somehow, Alan Silvestri got roped into scoring the film. This is the guy who wrote the iconic themes for Back to the Future and the Avengers, and actually, it might be the best part of the whole thing. He delivered an appropriately zany score that matches the action. Look, while pretty much everyone hated the entire experience, Samantha Mathis admitted that the press junket in Japan was pretty fun. She, Hoskins, and Leguizamo all went to an ancient temple where a group of monks were praying for the movie's success. Sadly, those prayers would go unanswered.
Say, what's another word that rhymes with dimension?
Yeah, tension, and I'm full of it, so shut up.
Super Mario Bros. Opened on May 28, 1993 to terrible reviews. It made about $21 million at the box office against a $48 million budget. And that convinced Nintendo that it would not put any more live-action films based on its games into production. A planned Metroid adaptation was scrapped and never made it past pre-production. Interestingly, Mario's creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, didn't think the film was great, but he did appreciate all the effort that was put into it. To his way of thinking, the movie became about the video game, and that's probably how that was gonna go. All in all, the movie's been pretty much disowned by everyone involved, and it's not hard to see why. But even if it is that bad, why are we still talking about it 25 years after the fact? Because Super Mario Bros., for better or for worse, mostly for worse, probably worse, changed the way Hollywood gave attention to video games as viable modes of storytelling. It's definitely an example of how not to make a video game adaptation, but it's also an instance of novel ambition and creativity. And even if none of it ended up working out, would we have video games without larger mythologies behind them? Okay, arguably, yes. But would they have Peter Dinklage's voice? Maybe, fine, okay, but there had to be a first attempt in a movie, and like so many other things, it was always gonna be Mario. And after all these years, Nintendo has found the courage to try again with an animated feature, which they are producing in partnership with Universal's Illumination Entertainment. Let's just hope our favorite Italian plumber finally gets the proper film treatment that he deserves. It will be better. It will definitely be better. Because it cannot be worse.
I believe it.
You do?
I believe.